On April 12th, Cape Town's water will be turned off as the country battles its worst drought in 100 years. Usable water levels are now at just 17.2%. When it hits 13.5%, the city's taps will run dry. The city's 4 million residents will have to queue for water. And there will be a 25-litre daily limit per person. People are being urged to cut back. And the city counts down to day zero. This is a huge crisis for South Africa. A huge city with a huge population, people who need water, and it's also a crisis for the farmers who need water to water their crops and for the animals that they look after. So, and it doesn't look like it's going to improve. And it looks like they've given the 12th of April as a deadline, and they're hoping the dams are going to fill up and people are going to save water by using less water. And they have restricted the amount of water the residents can use in South Africa, but there's not everybody is abiding by the rules, and some people are breaking the rules. Hence, they haven't saved much water at all since these restrictions came into place. Cape Town has got 6 major dams that supply it and its surrounding areas. And I'm just going to have a look at the statistics for these dams and the capacity that they're at now. So if we have a look at, these are the major dams here. If we look at the first one, Berg River, it's got a capacity of 130 million cubic meters. Back in 2014, at this time of year, it was 98% full. And if we see, it's dropped over the years to 85%, 61%, 56%, and now it's only in the first week of January, 58% capacity. So that's nearly half of what it was before. And the next one, Steam Brass Lower, that has a capacity of 33 million cubic meters. It was 82% full in 2014, and now it's 49% full. Steam Brass Upper, that's a different story. It stayed around the same, hasn't really changed very much. I don't know why that is. I don't know if this particular dam gets more rainfall than the other dams. But the capacity it has anyway, it's on the lower side. The capacity is only 31 million cubic meters anyway. And whereas the next dam, Three Water Skloof, it's got a huge capacity. The largest dam, 480 million cubic meters of water can be stored in this dam. It was 94% full back in 2014, but look at it now, just 16% full. So there's a huge amount of water gone missing from that dam. The next dam, Voelvry, it has a large capacity, 164 million cubic meters of water. It was 87% full in 2014, and now it's only 20% full. So that's another huge loss of water for that dam. And the other dam, Wemmershoek, it has a capacity of 58 million cubic meters of water. It was 88% full in 2014, and now it's only 52% full. Here's a bar chart showing you the dam levels for the years 2014 here. You can see them more or less about the same size, more or less the same capacity. But then as we go through the years, you can see there's a drastic change. The only one that stands out is staying the same is this one, the Steam Brass Upper, the one that's more or less stayed the same throughout. apart from these 2 years where there was a bit of a dip, but you can see there's a huge drop, and going from that to that, I can't see how it can fill up again, so it's back to that, because since 2014 it's just been dropping steadily like that, so I can't see it improving. So Cape Town have got a big problem on their hands. Not only are farmers relying on the water, but there's companies such as the companies that produce the wines, the companies that produce the tea. So they could end up going out of business if the drought continues.
Interesting debate, and it's, as in California, an awareness raising at which where is this sort of bulk water going? And it turns out that 60% of the incoming bulk supply to Cape Town has already been reserved for the commercial agriculture. Now, that's not necessarily the kind of staple foods, the maize meal, the corn that is the basic staple for most of the residents. But instead, it's actually used for irrigation, and that's often in this wealthy agricultural area for the finest wines in Africa and some of the finest in the world, as well as the famous tea, the rooibos tea. Now, the stress agriculturally on these two products, the vineyards that create these beautiful wines, and the rooibos tea, this red bush rooibos tea, may well put them out of business entirely in coming decades. And that's one of these adaptation questions. Can there be different agricultural systems or better irrigation systems? Or should we begin to think about these cities as really having to undergo this changes everything?
People come before businesses, and I think this is going to cause a lot of problems. If the dam doesn't fill up and these people are having to go and fill up water bottles every day, and if the queues get longer, people having to carry these huge bottles if they haven't got their own transport, it's going to cause a lot of problems, and it could even lead to violence in the streets. Not only to violence in the streets, but then South Africa might be wanting to get water from elsewhere that's not their territory. Like the fight for oil, it could end up being a fight for water. Now, there's not enough water to go around because of the huge population we have in the world at the moment. And it could lead to wars in the future. And Cape Town in particular have had a lot of migrants entering their country, and the population has increased a lot. So this also contributes to the water shortage. Here's a graph of the annual rainfall, and you can see there has been a marked drop in the last few years in South Africa, and some could blame global warming, like this NASA video. Cape Town do get very little rain in December, January, February and March, but in April it does increase, and May, June, July, August, September the rainfall is much better. So hopefully the rainfall might fill in the dams up partly, but I doubt they're going to fill it up completely. So they need to find other solutions for this, and I know they already have plans in place And but in the meantime, the South Africans, they've only got a few months before 0 day. So they need to really be strict with their intake of water and how they use water, and they need to be careful. And they've got to try and stick to the rules, because so far there's only around 40-50% who are sticking to the rules. So the other half of the country are not. So they all need to stick to the rules, otherwise they're all going to be queuing up with water bottles. And I can't see this ending peacefully, I think. This could get very nasty. So I think the whole world needs to look out for this. Not just for this city, but other cities it might happen to too, if the world is warming up the way NASA are telling us it is.